Made with layers of seasoned ground beef, refried beans, and cheese, this Instant Pot taco lasagna will prove to be an easy family favorite. Hi mindful moms and dads, Kristen here. As someone who suffers from a chronic disease, I believe homemade is best, but it doesn't need to be complicated. If you used to love Taco Bell pizza, you are gonna love this simple recipe for taco lasagna, AKA taco pie. It's like tacos meet bean burritos, all smothered in cheese and salsa. It's simple perfection. And this busy mom loves it not only because my family begs for this recipe again and again, but it's so easy to make. And I'm busy, just like you. So let's put on our kitchen capes and make this Instant Pot taco pie. To start this recipe, hit saute on your Instant Pot and then add in just a little bit of oil. We're gonna let that oil heat and then we're gonna brown up some meat right inside our inner pot. I'm adding in about a pound of lean ground beef. You can use ground turkey, you can use ground chicken, and you really don't need a full pound of meat unless you want a really hearty taco lasagna. Let your meat brown and break it up as it cooks into small little crumbles. Now, if you happen to have leftover taco meat or shredded chicken, or maybe even some carnita meat, you can skip the step of browning meat and use that to layer in your taco lasagna, and it'll be delicious, and this dinner will be that much faster. My meat is nice and browned up now, and I do have a little bit of oil here, so I'm gonna take my inner pot out and drain off that excess grease, and then pop my inner pot back inside my Instant Pot. With the Instant Pot still on saute, I'm adding in 1 cup of jarred salsa. The salsa already has chopped onions and chopped peppers and is so full of seasoning. It's a great shortcut to use when you want to make a fast dinner taste like it's been cooked for a lot longer. I'm also adding in 1 teaspoon of cumin, and then I'm just gonna saute that for just a minute to warm through and combine. Turn the Instant Pot off, and then we want to remove our meat mixture to a bowl. Now, it's really important that we deglaze the bottom of our inner pot to prevent a burn notice, and we're gonna do that by pouring in 1.5 cups of water and then use a spatula to just scrape up any brown bits on the bottom of your inner pot. We're not cooking our lasagna in the inner pot, instead we're cooking it using pot and pot method, and so we wanna put a rack right inside our Instant Pot. To assemble your taco lasagna, you first need to make sure you have the right pan. You want to use a 7x4 inch or a 6x4 inch cake pan or springform pan. I have a 7x4 inch cake pan that has a removable bottom, which makes for dramatic presentation and makes this taco lasagna a little bit easier to slice once it's been cooked, but you can certainly use a cake pan if that's all you have on hand. Spray your pan with a little bit of nonstick spray just to prevent your lasagna from sticking to your pan. Now, instead of lasagna noodles, we're using flour tortillas to separate the layers of our lasagna. I'm just using 6-inch flour tortillas, and they will be a little bit small for my 7-inch pan, but that's okay. Now, you can just opt to place your flour tortillas right into your pan, or if you hate soggy tortillas and soggy casseroles, I recommend toasting your tortillas first. For this lasagna, you need 5 flour tortillas. Give them a spray with cooking spray and then pop them under a broiler for just a minute or 2 per side until they're nice and golden. So I'm gonna place one of those toasted tortillas on the bottom of my cake pan here. I wanna cover that tortilla with refried beans. I'm using my Instant Pot homemade refried beans, and they are the best, but certainly you can use a can of refried beans. Sprinkle the beans with shredded cheese. I'm using a Mexican blend. You can use sharp cheddar, you can use Monterey Jack, whatever you have on hand. And then top with another flour tortilla. On top of that tortilla, I'm adding about a half of the meat mixture. Sprinkling that with some more cheese. The more cheese, the better. And then topping with an additional flour tortilla. I'm gonna repeat the layers of beans, then cheese, then tortilla, then meat, then more cheese, and finally topping with a final flour tortilla. On top of that tortilla, for like the tomato sauce that's the finishing touch on most lasagnas, I'm going to use additional jarred salsa for a punch of flavor. And then smother that with cheese. Very loosely cover this pan with foil. That'll help prevent any condensation from getting into our casserole and making it soggy. If you are opposed to cooking with foil, just skip this step. Your lasagna will still be delicious you might just have to dab a little bit of moisture from the top of your lasagna once it's cooked. So we're gonna place our assembled lasagna inside our Instant Pot. Pop the lid on your Instant Pot. Make sure your vent knob is pointed towards sealed, and we're only going to set cook time for 10 minutes. Because everything is pre-cooked, this comes together super fast. To set cook time, hit manual or pressure cook and use the plus or minus buttons to adjust until the cook time reads 10. Once the cook time has elapsed, it's best to let the pressure release on its own for 10 minutes. Once pressure has been released, open up your Instant Pot. Carefully remove your trivet, and then you want to remove the foil from your pan. Now at this point, you can pop your lasagna under the broiler to really crisp up that cheese. I don't find that that's necessary at all. Instead, I'm gonna let this cool for about 10 minutes until I can easily remove the cake bottom from the bottom of the pan. And I'm gonna place my taco lasagna onto a cutting board, sprinkling with some chopped cilantro, and then you can cut that up and serve. Look at those layers, the beef, the beans, the cheese. It's absolutely delicious. Let me tell you, my family is gonna be super excited for dinner tonight, and if you make this recipe, I bet your family will love it too. You know what else is another great, fast favorite? Instant Pot chicken tacos, and you can catch that recipe in my next video. Until then, happy cooking.